Hey romance writers, welcome to Write with Harte. I am Jenna Harte, a romance author as well as a romance ghostwriter. Over the last 2 years, I've written over 2 million swoon-worthy words, and I'm here to share some of my tips and insights to help you write a romance as well. Today we're going to be talking about Facebook author takeover events and how they can help you sell your books. Now, several years ago, when my first traditionally published romance came out, I was really clueless on how to get this book sold, and I was invited to participate in a Facebook author takeover event. At the time, I had no clue what that was or how it worked, but I signed up because I wanted to sell my book. As a result of that event, I have some of my most loyal fans who are still with me today. So I am a big fan of the Facebook author takeover event. Not only do I participate almost anytime I'm invited to one, but I've hosted several on my own as well. And in fact, over at swoonworthyhea.com, which is an online community for people who love to read romance, I am getting ready to host an author takeover event through that for Valentine's Day. Because what better time to talk about romance books than on Valentine's Day? So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what a Facebook author takeover event is, how they work, how you can participate, and even how you can host one. So let's get started. So what is a Facebook author takeover event? Basically, it's an event that takes place on Facebook through an event set up through a page or a group. It's done entirely online, so people don't have to go anywhere, and they can participate at any time that is convenient for them. This is what makes it really ideal. While a Facebook author takeover event might be scheduled for a time frame between noon and 8, for example, because it is generally left online and open for at least 24 hours, during that 24 hours, people can come in and participate at any time until the event is officially closed. If your event is from noon to 8, but somebody can't get there till 4, they can come into the event at 4 o'clock and they can see everything that was posted before that and participate and interact with it. So this is one of the reasons why online events is great. And of course on Facebook, which has so many people already a part of the platform, it's just an ideal place to host something like this and get as many eyes on you as a romance author as possible. Now, these events are held for a variety of reasons. One of the most common is an author has a new release coming out. So it becomes kind of a release party where they invite their other author friends and they have this big event. But other times they can be held because it's a specific time of year. Sometimes they're just hosted for any reason. I've been known to do that. It just seemed like a fun time to have a party online, and so I set up an event. Now basically, during the event, authors are given certain time slots where they will come in and essentially take over the event by posting content that is entertaining, fun, engaging, and of course, promotional. So how can a Facebook author takeover event help you sell your books? I think the really important thing to remember about Facebook author takeover events is it isn't just about how many books you can sell the day of the event. It's about how many people can you get in front of that will now follow you on social media or subscribe to your newsletter. So it isn't just about book sales, it's also about expanding your platform. It's about having people learn about you and want to follow you. Unless I'm doing a Facebook author event on a release, I generally don't see a huge spike in book sales when I participate in them. But I do see big increases in the number of people who have liked my page or who have subscribed to my newsletter or are following me on some other source of social media. When they do that, that gives me the option to sell them my book in the future. So basically, through a Facebook author takeover event, what you're looking at is expanding your social media following, you're looking at increasing the subscribers to your newsletter list, as well as selling books. So how does a Facebook takeover event work? Let me start by going over how someone who would be a guest to the Facebook author takeover event would interact. I described this a little bit earlier, but basically they learn about the event through you or some other author or whoever's hosting the event, and they make the decision to attend. Now, if they are following a specific author, they may actually join the event at the time that that author is on. But let's say they can't. They can still come in at a different time. Generally, they're going to scroll through the feed and see the different items that have already been posted and participate. Many authors are asking questions or doing quizzes or offering free stuff or having giveaways. And so as a participant, they're able to scroll through the feed and find the different fun things to interact in. Now, as an author, your participation is essentially that you are given a time frame in which to show up and make your posts, essentially taking over. During your takeover time, you're the only person who is posting content. Now, how much you post is really dependent on how long your takeover time slot is. I've seen them as short as 10 or 15 minutes and as long to an hour. Most of the ones I participate are generally anywhere between 15 and 20 or maybe 30 minutes. When I participate, I generally have at least 4 pieces of content, even during a 15-minute slot. And each one is posted kind of a few minutes apart. They're paced out over time. This gives people a chance to respond to something I posted, but doesn't have such a huge time lapse that they end up getting bored. Now, there's a variety of different things that you can post during a Facebook author takeover event. Generally, you're going to want to come on, give a short bio, thank the host for having you. And I'd like to start off right away with some sort of question so that they're immediately starting to interact with me. But there's a whole other variety of things that you can post during your time frame. This can be a link to your newsletter, especially if you give away a book with your newsletter sign up. The most interactive posts are those where you're posting something fun and asking other people to engage with you. So I will often ask questions like, what is your favorite Southern food? Or what is your favorite Southern saying? Because my books pretty much take place in the South. I've seen other authors who have pets in their books, and they may ask participants to share a picture of their pet. A Facebook takeover event is also a good time to maybe share a teaser and then to let them know about your book. And many people also have giveaways. This giveaway can be something like a $10 Amazon gift card, or it could be a digital copy of your book. But again, it's another great way to get people to check out your website or to follow you on social media. For example, entries in your giveaway can involve people having followed your Facebook page or signed up for your newsletter. So how can you learn about Facebook author takeovers? Well, a lot of it is just networking. I would encourage you to join and follow romance-related author and reading groups on Facebook, because a lot of times you're going to hear about them that way. If you do a search on Facebook for author takeover events, a lot of times you're going to see a variety of events that had already been set up, and you can see kind of who set them up, because there are some Facebook groups that actually host these type of events. I'll have a link to at least one such group in the comments below. For me, networking and just kind of keeping in touch with other authors in the romance genre has been the ideal way to know when Facebook takeover events are happening. However, while it can be really great to participate in somebody else's takeover, and it's definitely easier, you can host your own as well. What I want to do now is walk you through how I am going to set up the Facebook takeover for swoonworthyhea.com. So we'll go over to Facebook. I will go ahead and set up the group, show you how to do it step by step. So I wanted to show you real quick what a Facebook author takeover event might look like. This was one that I did a couple of years ago on the release of Meant to Be, and you can see that the cover graphic here doesn't fit very well, but that's only because Facebook changes the size of their graphics. That will be fixed on the next event I set up. I want you to see the different types of ways people interact with the authors and the different things that the authors do to encourage interaction and hopefully enticing readers to come over and learn more about them. Now, because Facebook always has the most recent posts rising to the top, you will see that we have the winners here already. So we've posted the different winners from the different types of giveaways that were given during the takeover. Now here's an example of a $10 Amazon gift card giveaway, and I had them enter by letting them know what is their favorite Southern yum yum. Basically, what is their favorite Southern food? And I posted a picture of bacon wrapped tater tots because that actually showed up in one of my books. Now, under the comments, you can see a variety of people have posted their grandma's banana pudding or peach cobbler, collard greens, grits, and so on. Here's a post where I've included an excerpt of the book. Now, I did this for a release, so obviously I was really pushing them wanting to check out the book. Another thing that showed up in the book was a grove of trees that when you looked up looked like a star, which was inspired to a set of trees just like this where my husband and I went to college. And then I included a question about any true life love stories or romantic interludes that anyone participating in this takeover event had participated in. Now, as the host, I always try to thank my authors when their time has come. Now, I wanted to scroll down here to a giveaway that Bianca had done. In her book, she has a ball that's a fairy ball based on Midsummer's Night Dream. And her giveaway, she asked people to post a picture of what they might wear to a costume ball. And down here you can see a variety of pictures that people who came to participate in the event posted. Now down here is another way that Megan was able to bring in something fun for people to participate in that is related to her book, because she talks about how she was doing research on holiday drinks and found this one that looked particularly yummy, and then adding it to a giveaway, asked people to share what their favorite holiday drink is. So connecting things that are related to your book, whether it has to do with food or where the location is, or like in the case of Bianca, some sort of costume ball, things that you've researched and discovered, funny things that are in your book. There's all sorts of different ways that you can take the things that are in your book and use them to engage with the audience without being a specific buy my book. Down here, Kelly asked the question, if you could date any fictional character, who would it be? And she chose Alcide from True Blood, which to me seems like a good choice. Now, in this case, she's just asking a question. It's not related to a giveaway. It's not related to her asking for a book sale. She is just posting a question and interacting with the people who are coming in to the Facebook Author Takeover event to have fun. Now, I, of course, had to choose Rourke from the in-depth books, but you will see a variety of different choices. Here we've got Mr. Darcy and another Mr. Darcy. So there's a lot of ways that you can be creative with an author takeover event to have fun, engage with people, and hopefully entice them to follow you, subscribe to your newsletter list, and of course buy your books. So now we're going to go ahead and set up an author takeover event on Facebook, and I'm going to set it up through the swoonworthyhea.com page. So I'm at the page and I'm going to scroll down here to where it says events, and you can see I have no past events, I have no upcoming events, but I can create a new event. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now I have the choice to decide if it's going to be online or in person, and in this case, obviously, we're going to be online, and admission is going to be free. Now, Facebook is sometimes changing where things are. Hopefully, by the time you're doing your own event, this will look familiar to you, or you will have been able to figure it out. Now, it automatically has put in the cover photo from the page. I will likely be changing this, and I will be using Canva, which I will show you in a minute. But first, we're going to come over here to event details, and we're going to put in the event name. So I've decided to call it a Swoon-Worthy Valentine Author Takeover. It's possible that I will change that. And then we're going to go ahead and pick the start date. This is a Valentine event, but because people might be going out on Valentine's Day and it is a Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and choose a weekday. Now, generally, takeover events a lot of times are done on Tuesdays, which are typical release days for traditionally published books. I'm going to go ahead and choose Wednesday at this point. And again, I might end up changing that. I'm going to make the start time noon. And I'm actually, for the first time, going to run this a little bit differently, in which case I am going to have basically from about noon to 4. And then I'm going to take a break and have authors come back from about 6 to 10. Now, as a host, this is a lot of work, typically because I don't just set it and forget it once the other authors are there. Generally, I can trust them to be there. I've never really had any problems with authors not showing up, but sometimes there's glitches. And I do feel that as a host, it is polite to be there to thank the authors or welcome them in. So I am committing myself to a very long day on February 10th. But again, when I see the benefits that I can get as an author or for the Swoon-Worthy HEA community, it is time well spent and is generally a lot of fun. So the location, I'm just going to put online, and it is set to a public event. So now I've put in a description. This is definitely something I'm going to come back and redo once I have all my authors set up. I'm going to include the times my authors are going to be here, and if possible, I'm going to tag them. So when people come in, they're able to see the authors that will be here and the times that they will be here as well. And of course, it's a nice way to promote your authors. Then you have to choose a category, and we're going to choose literature because this has to do with books, and we're going to click next. Now this is a bit new where it includes having an external link. So if your event is actually taking place on another website, you can include a link to that here. I know that someday over at Swoon-Worthy HEA, that's exactly how I will do it, that I will host the event on the swoonworthyhea.com website. But because it's a new and growing community, I'm going to go ahead and keep it on Facebook because I think it's going to be easier. People are already on Facebook. All they have to do is click the event and come to this page to participate in it. So I'm going to go ahead and include the other, and then I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now in this place, we can change our photo. We can kind of move it around and change it up here, or you can add a new photo. Now the easiest way to make a photo specific for your event is to go over to Canva. At least that's what I think, because Canva is for the most part going to get the sizing right. I will say that a lot of times when I choose a Facebook cover from Canva, a lot of times it doesn't fit exactly, but it's close enough. So in this case, I'm going to search Canva for Facebook event, and here it has cover. So I'm going to click on that, and it has templates here that I can use. And if you already have an idea of a photo and what you want it to look like, you can simply choose the blank, which is what I almost always do, because they will still give you some sample templates that you can use here, and they will tell you which ones are free, because not all of them are actually free. And like in my case, I'm doing a romance, so I might want to search for something with hearts in it. So here's something that is cute. I'm going to go ahead and change this, take this one, but I'm going to change a lot of things about it. I'm going to go ahead and change the picture for one, and I'm going to go into my photos and find a photo that I've already bought or own. Because it's Valentine's Day, I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. You do want to be careful about picking photos that might be too sexy. You know, Facebook ads doesn't really like that. A lot of posts get away with bare-chested men and sensual type photographs, but you're going to want to be careful, not just for your cover, but if you're participating in a takeover event, because you don't want to get your host in any sort of trouble. And I'm just going to kind of move this to the side, and we'll go with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this up here. I'm going to ungroup this because it's the easiest way to change the font. So swoon-worthy, and I'm going to make this pink, white, light pink. I'm going to make it white. And we'll put the dates. And I'm going to go ahead and put the times. Now, again, when I have my authors all set up, I may actually come in and change this graphic so that I can add their books or their names. Authors like to share things that have their names or their book covers on them, and it's a nice thank you because it does take time for them to participate. So we're going to go ahead and go with this. I'm going to go ahead and download it. And then over here, back in Facebook, we're going to click on the edit. I'm going to click upload, and we'll go with that. Now in this place, I can add co-hosts, but we're not going to do that now. We can show the guest list. Only admins can post an event. Here it has post must be approved by a host or co-host. We're going to turn that off. We're going to let people ask you questions about this event over Messenger. You can leave that off or turn it on. That can be helpful if you turn it on in case people, especially authors, have questions coming up. And then we're going to go ahead and click on save. And then we're going to create event. And now it's saying we can pay money and boost the event, which I'm not going to do right now, but I may do in the future. So here we can see the event, and the event page is what we're going to share. So we can invite people to it. You can edit here if you need to, and you can click on discussion and begin posting. So for example, if you already have who you know is going to be at the event, you can begin sharing that. Or if you're going to still be setting it up and inviting authors, you can post so-and-so's coming at such and such time. Like I said, when I have a better idea of my authors, I will go ahead and click the edit and put the details, including the authors and the times they're going to be there, in the detail box. Now, setting up an event like this in advance can be really helpful because you can actually start having your authors come in and have discussions and ask groups, and the goal is to really generate some interest around people being here on the day of the event. So you do want to promote the event, but also begin having interaction on the event page. So that's it. That's how you set up a Facebook author takeover event. So here real quickly, I want to show you how I set up the sign-up sheet for my author takeover event. And I just do it real basic. I don't want to have a fancy form or something really difficult. So I just use a Google Sheet and I set up the name of the takeover event, and I'll probably go ahead and put in the date, and then I put in the time frame. In this case, I'm going to do all 30-minute slots, just because for a host, actually the longer the slot, a little bit easier it is, because you're not having to jump in so often or sit at your desk all day to make sure all the shift changes are being made. So I'm going to do 30-minute slots because in my mind, an hour a lot of times can be too long, but 30 minutes is just enough. And this time I'm going to go ahead and run my takeover in 2 sessions. So I'm going to have a noon to 4 session and then a 6 to 10 session. And I'm going to go ahead and open the session at noon, and then I'm going to close it right at 10. Now by closed, it just means there's no new people coming on. Generally, the event will stay open and the authors will come in the following day, usually by noon, to announce their winner. So often there's still people participating until people start actually notifying their winners. So then what I do is I just begin promoting, reaching out to all my author friends, promoting in some of the author groups that I'm aware of, letting them know that this takeover is taking place on the date and the various times, and then they can come in on their own and choose the time that works best for them. I've asked them to put their name and their Facebook page because I want to connect with them. And be able to tag them if possible when I go ahead and put in their information. I'm actually also going to go ahead and ask them to give me their website or Amazon page because it's possible that I'll go ahead and pull copies of their books and again add them to the cover graphic or share them in discussions as they come on and I start promoting them. So now I have this page here. I can share the link to this page on Facebook to all the different people that I'm reaching out to. I can also have a post over at Swoonworthy HEA about the takeover event. And of course, I'll also have it over at Write with Harte for anybody who would like to sign up for it there as well. So one thing we need to make sure is that people can actually add their name and their information to this. So you have to make sure that anyone on the internet can actually see the link, and you may actually here have something that says that nobody can see it, it's completely private. Here we have anyone with the link on the internet can see it and they can make a comment on it, but that we do want them to be able to edit it so that they can fill in their name and the information that we've asked them for. So anyone with the link can edit it, then we click done. Then we can go ahead and grab the link, which I didn't do before. So we can copy the link and then we're able to share it. Okay, so now you know what a Facebook author takeover is. You know how to participate. You even know how to set up your own Facebook author takeover. What I want to do now is just go over a few tips on how to best make the most of a Facebook takeover event, whether you participate as an author or whether you host your own. One of the most important things that you will need to do is to promote the takeover to your followers, your subscribers, to anybody who is listening to you. This is whether you are the host or you're a participating author. One of the reasons these things work is because you have everybody participating telling their groups of people about it, and all their groups of people come in, and now all of the different groups will learn about all the authors. The second thing I would recommend is preparing your posts in advance. I actually have several files on my computer of different types of posts I have, and all I have to do is copy and paste them at the allotted time, and then if there's a picture involved, upload the picture. This makes it really easy to get your content up on the page as quickly as possible. You're not sitting there wondering what should I post, and everything is already prepared. So you already have the link to your website or to your Amazon page or whatever it is that you are sharing with the people in the Facebook Author Takeover event. When you're participating as an author, you want to make sure that the host has given you a moderator status on the event page. Otherwise, you may not be able to post. And if you are a host, you're going to want to make sure that you give your authors a moderator status so that they can be sure to post as well. When you're hosting, it is helpful to be online the whole time with your messenger box open, because a lot of times it's helpful if it's their time to post to message them privately and just make sure that they're ready. And of course, if they have any difficulty posting, they can message you, and right then and there you can figure out what to do and how to fix it. And if you need to log in and fill the space because maybe that person can't be there or isn't there or wants you to post their thing, you can do that. Along with that, you should have a backup plan in case something goes wrong. In some cases, the authors will be able to post their content and schedule it in advance, which can be really helpful in case something goes wrong and all of a sudden they can't post. You can do the same usually. However, you want to remember that this is an interactive event. So even if you've scheduled your post in advance, you really should be there at the time of the posting so you can respond to people who are responding to your post. Remember that this is a party, so you want to post things that are interactive. So you don't just want to say, here's my book, it's about this, and here's my other book, it's about that, and please follow me here. You want to have things that are fun and engaging, and you can make them related to your book. Like I mentioned earlier, I almost always have some sort of question related to a favorite Southern saying or a favorite Southern food. And if you go and look at other Facebook Takeover events, you can see the variety of things that authors will post that are meant to be fun and engaging. It's asking people questions. It's asking them to share photos of their pet or things like that. If you're going to do some sort of giveaway, you want to be really clear on how people can enter, how they're going to be picked as the winner, and when the winner will be selected. In most takeover events that I've participated in and the ones that I run, generally we let the event run for 24 hours. So if the event is held on day 1, generally it's by noon day 2 that the winners are selected and announced on the Facebook event page. It gives people a whole 24 hours to come in and check out all the great posts on the event, to participate in all the giveaways that are provided there, and then the next day the winners are picked. Each author is responsible for picking their winners and posting them to the Facebook event page. Now, while you definitely want to have a little bio at the beginning to let people know about you, generally you also want to close out by letting them know where they can find you as well. So if they have found you interesting, fun, and engaging, and like what you have to say about your writing, then they need a place to be able to follow you. So let them know about your website. Let them know about where they can follow you. One thing about posting is you're definitely going to want to pace yourself as you post. I generally will post every 5 to 8 minutes depending on how long my takeover time is. So I want to give people enough time to see the post and begin responding to it and my interacting with them on the post without things running to a standstill. I have participated in Facebook takeovers where at the time that I'm posting, it seems like crickets. There's not a lot of response at that time. But don't worry about that, because like I said, people can come in at any time, even when the event time, let's say it's noon to 4 is over. Let's say they can come in at 6 o'clock that night and participate in whatever you and other authors have posted. So generally what I find is even if people aren't interacting with me at that time, if I come back later, my notifications button has lit up and there's a lot of people who have responded, in which case I go back and then respond to them. And responding to people is really important. On a takeover day, it can become overwhelming. It can become a lot, but remember, each personal response you give to people who have responded to your post is a potential book buyer, potential reader. It's a potential fan. So it's really, really important that you engage with these people who are engaging with you. You do not want to copy what other people are doing. Certainly you can get ideas and tweak them to fit your books and your personality, but do not directly take what somebody else is posting on a Facebook takeover event to your post, because that's just bad form. Now, if somebody has posted something that you are already planning, you should change it, tweak it somehow. Finally, you want to be sure to thank your hosts and everybody who has participated in the takeover. It is an exhausting, tiring event, particularly if you are hosting, but it can be a worthwhile event, and it involves a lot of people participating. A host inviting you to be a part of it, or you as the host having authors who've come to join in to be a part of it. You want to thank all of them, and then of course you want to thank all of the people who've taken the time to visit the page and to participate in the event. Now, as a reminder, and as you saw, swoonworthyhea.com is hosting an author takeover event. You saw me set up the page, and pretty soon I'm going to have more details on all the authors that will be participating. Now, swoonworthyhea.com is an online community geared towards people who enjoy reading romance, but it is an ideal place for people who write romance as well, because people who write romance need people who read romance. So you can join in and participate in groups. We have monthly giveaways, and at any time now, our blogging feature is going to be set up, so you could actually set up your own author blog. You can learn more by visiting swoonworthyhea.com, and be sure to follow it on Facebook so that you can learn more about the Facebook author takeover that it is hosting in February. So that's it for today's show. I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe gained a new idea on how to expand your romance author platform, as well as to help you sell more books. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comments below. Please don't forget to follow and subscribe so that you can get more great content on how to write, publish, and market romance fiction. Until next time, this is Jenna Harte wishing you peace, love, and happily ever after.